Ezra Fraser asked, when you have a couple of competitors in your space, do you have a process of differentiating your brand versus the others? Hey Ezra, thanks for the question. And yes, we definitely do. I'm going to show you a recording of a training that I did on Loom. It's a training called the Competitive Intelligence Process. I've implemented this training and designed this since day one inside Sugatan, even before we started as an agency. This is the exact process that I implemented back when I was a freelancer, and it's still a process that we use today. This Loom video in particular tells you where your competitors have spent the most money in their digital marketing advertising. You want to understand where they put a lot of their dollars because they've already invested a lot of time and money into testing offers, into testing landing pages, testing copy, headlines, verbiage, and ideally it saves us hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing a peek into what is and isn't working for them. Now, at the end of the Loom video, stay because I'm going to show you how we've adapted or added on to it, and the things that we've particularly added on to this process is learnings in terms of what are the positives from the competitors and what are i.e. their strengths and what are the weaknesses from the competitors. And then we've added on brand positioning learnings, which is determining why we're actually better than the competitor, what's our weakness in comparison to the other competitors, defining key messages to make our own brand stand out through analyzing how other brands are positioning themselves, and then our copywriter. Just so you know, the copywriters are actually in charge of this entire process, and they also give us an intonation guide, which is research-based recommendations through the competitive intel analysis, which is basically like, what are some of the intonations that the other brands are positioning themselves? I'll use an example. Is it credibility driven, authoritative driven? Is it science driven? Is it, that's like a intonation guide as opposed to humor driven, two very, very different intonation in terms of how they talk to the demographic. And then the language guide that really overlaps into that intonation guide. If you're authoritative, science-based, fact-based, then you're going to use language that is very authoritative, that is instructive, that is factual, so that really defines your brand positioning as well. Whereas if you're humor driven, then you're going to do a play on words. You're going to relate to your customer demographic based on entertainment, for example. And it's going to be a very different language than the authoritative driven intonation. So Ezra, I hope that answers your question. Thanks for asking. Looking forward to more of your interaction in our private Facebook group. Second question coming from Daniel Constantine Bernstein. What are you doing to combat tracking issues inside Facebook? You know what? We actually committed to Hyros. Hyros. Hyros is now what we're using to accurately trim our Facebook ads, and it's actually been working. Now, there are two camps about Hyros. There are those that says Hyros doesn't work, it's crap, and then the other camp is like Hyros is, it's great. Now, let me tell you the difference between the two. Those that say that Hyros do not work are the ones who are actually not trimming frequently, let's just say 2 to 3 times per day on a day-over-day basis inside Facebook. They probably just set up some campaigns, let them run for about 3 days, and then they come back and trim 3 days later. Those ad buyers are the ones that are saying that Hyros is useless. Then there are the other camp, and that's the camp that we fall on, which is that Hyros actually does work and is effective enough for us to media buy effectively, and we are trimming constantly, multiple times a day, in day over day, inside Facebook ads, because that is what is required to survive the post iOS apocalypse ever since Apple released iOS 14. And because of that, Hyros has been very effective. So what does that, how do you, it's really easy actually. It's a Chrome app. Once you actually join Hyros, you attach the account to Hyros, which you can Google. Eventually you download the Chrome app, and then you enable the Chrome app, and then inside Ads Manager, Hyros does an overlay that shows you the actual accurate attribution as an overlay on your Ads Manager. And that's what we're using right now. It's been effective enough for us to actually do media buying. I'm pretty sure maybe there are others that are using other ways of tracking, but for the media buyers specifically inside Facebook, this is the solution that we're using.
I think it's really important to have like content pillars, sitting down and making sure that you have videos that are following trends, and you're asking about time. So, a lot like an hour to scroll, maybe 30 minutes to collect the ideas and really flesh them out and like you're saying, Helen, like twist them into your niche. But then also I think it's really important that we take time off of social media, close your eyes, and like get creative and like think for yourself. I was doing too many videos that were like, follow me because I do cottagecore content, but like never really posting the cottagecore content because I'm just always doing the trends, which is like not helping anybody and definitely not really providing for my audience. I stepped back and I was like, what in my niche do I wish people were making that are in my niche? And also, how can I be creating something new and different? And I don't know, I think that it's really important to just think for yourself and take time to be like, can I use a trending song in the background but still do something that's a little bit, like could provide for my audience and have a trending sound in the background because people like familiarity. But yeah, I think it's important to do the trends, but also really just take time to be creative and think for yourself.